how different was your approach this time? Mike wasn't the new singer, you didn't have problems with the budget, you had all the time and the success. You were world-renowned to have your personal sound.
I'll answer one question, he can answer the other ones. One part of that question, we didn't have more time in a way because we had success on the last record. Everybody was so very excited or whatever about the record company, about the management. They were so excited about hearing a new one. We knew even more this time exactly how long it was going to take for it to get out, and we were really, I think, made aware by them more that the clock was ticking.
Yeah.
It wasn't ever so much a point of holding a gun to our head and saying, write songs fast, but we knew, you know, that when we took like 4, 5, 6 months, whatever, to write material, we knew that they were saying first of October. I'm sure you probably heard it here. First it was coming in October, then November, then January, you know, and like that. So, you know, it's never, you can never say, oh, things are just done, they're finished, and everything's beautiful from now on. You're going to always get, you know, little different idiosyncrasies that you need to work within.
You have to make your own time too, sometimes. I mean, we had to pacify them to a certain extent because they wanted to come in and hear our music as we were writing it. We said, no, get the hell out of here. This is our music. Because we knew, you know, this time much more what we wanted to do, and we also knew the angle they were coming from, which is more of a marketing angle. I think, you know, that they were expecting, you know, a lot of repetition on this record. You know, I think they would have been really happy if we would have made, you know, our last record over again.
Safe.
So, you know, if they have a way of marketing something or a way of selling something, of course they're going to want to repeat it, and you know, we're not about that. We're not about making their jobs easy, so they hate us.
What he said too about his answers to the other part of the question is, yeah, with the not having a new singer, you know, it's more integrated into the whole. Although when honestly, I think when he joined the band, I don't really think that musically there was that much of a problem integrating. I mean, we
no, it was just really rushed.
Yeah.
It was really forced.
And
I had to be integrated.
Maybe everything else
yeah.
was a little bit put at the back, like personality-wise, you know, integrating really. Maybe that was more difficult rather than the music. Because, you know, that's something that takes time. And with the 2 years of touring that we did and seeing all the places we saw, then we can all come back and, like he said, we know what we want to do. And, you know, and we know how to get it. You know, we know now all the tools that we have, you know, and that was good, yeah.
It was more like the waters were really muddy and, like, it took a long time for them to settle. And once they did, we had a lot clearer vision.
In Italy or in Europe in general, we talk a lot about the Seattle scene and the Bay Area scene. The Bay Area had many groups in the beginning of the 80s, like you or Metallica, bands that became really successful over here, Testament, a lot of heavy metal bands. How was it really when you started out, the Bay Area scene, and how is it now? Okay, next question.
We're not good with scenes because we've never really been a part of one.
Anytime we have something, I think, that is supposed to be reeking of brotherhood and togetherness and cooperation, one or all of the members of the band, in their own different ways, are going to stick their finger right in the eyeball of you know, of that. We don't really.
We could never unify.
It's not really like that. It's not really like that for us. I think that we are so. I don't know. You could say either fucked up or individualistic. Take your choice. Beware of people selling you something in a very neatly wrapped, brand new box. You know, there may be like one little nice chocolate in it, but the other stuff, it might be lumps of coal, man. It might be just lumps of coal that they need to get rid of. You know,
boxes don't grow on trees.
Take things in their own. Take things of themselves. Look at everything as itself. You know, not just, oh, this band's from Seattle, they're great.
That's invented. People put Seattle bands in a box because they think it'll sell. There's no such thing as Seattle.
They did that. They did that in Athens, Georgia, with REM. And how many bands followed REM out of Athens, Georgia? Except for the B-52s, and they were around before REM actually, so that doesn't count. Austin, Texas, Redondo Beach with SST and all the Black Flag and all that stuff. Boston, Massachusetts, you remember them? Up there,
DC.
Up there, DC. You know, it's like one or two good bands making some noise, and bang, everybody signs every band around them. And now people are moving from LA.
To Seattle?
Fucking LA.
Yeah.
Stopping combing their hair, putting on flannel, not driving down the Sunset Strip anymore, and moving to Seattle.
It's true.
Some famous Italian poet said that real art only comes from real pain, real suffering, real grief. Where do you find time, and when do you find time to write, since you've been on tour so long? And is it true? I mean, does real art come from strong negative feelings mostly?
Well, I think it's there whether you want it to be or not. I think that everyone's fucked. And people that make themselves suffer unnecessarily are stupid. I think that's a very romantic, bygone ideal. That's like a rock and roll myth to me. I mean, the starving artist thing. It happens whether or not you starve or not. You still feel like shit. Everyone's fucked. You don't have to starve to feel like hell. You could be eating, you know, a 4-course Italian meal and still feel like a fucking asshole. And still, you know, be bitter. I mean, it just happens. And it just so happens that, yeah, I think sometimes that is the most powerful, you know. Sometimes that does inspire you the most. Things like that.
How do you live in the States? What makes you sick the most and what doesn't? Is it a freelance?
It's a broken machine, and it's just waiting basically. It's limping on the freeway towards the exit. Towards the exit. Hopefully it's going to make it to the gas station, but I don't think so. I think it's too
Yeah,
fucked
something
up.
like when you see the riots, even though, you know, I think on the surface it's a negative thing, it's almost good to see in a way, because you see that maybe, you know, through something like that, yeah, something could change, or, you know, it's like a crack, and everything could still fall into it, and that's like, to me, that's kind of hopeful more than anything.
We need to get rid of our government and our system.
Yeah,
It needs to be shot and put in a field somewhere, because it's totally all the bureaucracy, all the paperwork, all the chaos, all the greed, all the graft, all that fucking shit has become the most important thing to itself, to keep itself going,
Yeah.
rather than taking care of people in the country. And it's very upsetting.
It survives
It
on
is.
bullshit. That's what keeps it alive.